Hi everybody, welcome back to Sunshine Soap and Candle Company. Last week I shared with you how to make a tallow and calendula infused facial and body balm, and this week I'm going to be sharing with you how to make a tallow and calendula emulsified body butter. In this video today I'm going to be going over my full step-by-step process and tutorial of how to make this beautiful emulsified body butter. We're also going to be talking about the ingredients and the benefits of using the specific ingredients that I've chosen for this formula today. If you are interested in the full written formula with percentages, amounts, and a full written step-by-step detailed tutorial along with links to where you can purchase everything that I've used for today's formula, please head on over to my Patreon campaign. The link to my campaign is in the description box below, and you can access this recipe at just the $5 level. If you haven't had a chance to check out my campaign yet, I really hope you will. There's so much to take advantage of. Not only will you be able to access this formula, you can access hundreds of formulas and tutorials. We're going on almost 5 years of the campaign, so that's totally amazing. So I hope you'll go and check it out. It's a great way to connect with me and other makers, and it's full of amazing resources and hundreds of formulas for you to take advantage of. All right, let's get started. Okay, similar to last week's video, we're going to go ahead and strain off some infused oil. So this is calendula infused sunflower oil. Sunflower oil is going to be the oil that we use for this body butter today. And I'm just going to go ahead and strain it off. It's been infusing for a week. I infused it over low heat for 4 hours last week and then just left it in the container. So sunflower oil is a wonderful, lightweight carrier oil, and it's high in oleic acid, which is pretty well known for its anti-inflammatory properties. I'm trying not to make a mess here, so we're just going to go ahead and strain off the oil. As you can see, it's taken on a beautiful yellow hue, and that is from the beautiful yellow calendula petals here. Last week's video, I showed you a little bit more of how to infuse the oil using the heat method, so you can go back and take a look at that video if you want a visual on that. And otherwise, I'll write it up in my tutorial to put over on Patreon. All right, going to go ahead and set that aside, and then we're going to go ahead and start weighing off our other ingredients for this body butter. You're going to really appreciate this because everything's going into the same container, so it just is a super easy formula to make in that way. So the first thing we're going to do is go ahead and weigh off some distilled water. And as discussed in the intro, this is a emulsified formula. So there are 2 different types of body butters. Actually, there's probably more than 2 different types of body butters, but for the most part, you can have a body butter that's anhydrous, that's totally oil-based, or you can have an emulsified body butter, which is what we're making today, which does contain water. However, the thickness of this formula and the texture is that of a butter. The benefits of an emulsified body butter is they're easy to ship during the heat, because they don't melt and they are not greasy feeling. So that's what we're going for today. To this container now, we're going to go ahead and add in some polyquaternium 7. Polyquaternium 7 is a beautiful cationic ingredient, so this is going to bring some nice slip and wonderful conditioning properties to this formula. Now, if you didn't want to use polyquaternium 7, we're going to be using a little bit of glycerin as well in this formula. You could totally just replace this polyquaternium 7 with more glycerin if you wanted to keep it more on the natural side. I just really like the skin feel of products with polyquaternium 7 in them, and that's what we're going to go ahead and use today. Next, we're going to go ahead and add in our oil. So here is our sunflower infused oil. We're going to go ahead and add this in. You could replace this with any other light carrier oil of your choice if you like. Next up, we're going to be adding in our beef tallow. Now, this is the star of the show. Today, we're using a hard beef tallow, also known as suet. This is a really good quality one that I got on Etsy from a company called Tender Loving Tallow. It's got a very, very light smell to it, barely detectable, but this is going to also give our formula some thickness, much like a shea butter would. And beef tallow is said to have lots of skin-loving benefits. Of course, you can't make any claims. I went over some of this on my last video, and essentially you cannot make any claims regarding what it does, but people like it because it can be a deeply hydrating and moisturizing product. It mimics our own skin makeup very closely. So it can be good for inflammation, redness. It's high in linoleic acid. So it's said to have some anti-inflammatory properties. And it feels pretty good on the skin. Different than shea butter, but similar. It feels harder on contact than shea butter, but in my opinion, it melts a little bit easier on contact with the skin. So again, mainly people are using the beef tallow for its intensely hydrating properties and the ability for it to kind of penetrate a little bit deeper into the skin and lock moisture in. So I'm liking it because I'm feeling like it does add some softness to my skin. Again, this is all something you would have to try out for yourself to see if those are also the same benefits that you are getting. So then we're going to go ahead and add in some emulsifying wax. Now, the emulsifying wax, we're just using generic emulsifying wax, NF, and this is what's going to combine our oil and water. Without the emulsifying wax, the oils and waters will separate. So you definitely need some sort of emulsifying wax for this product, or any emulsified product for that matter, to combine your oils and water. So next up, we're going to be adding in a little bit of white beeswax, and this is going to provide a couple things for our body butter. This is going to provide some stiffness to the body butter, making it a little bit more durable and a product that can stand up to shipping in the heat. And also it's going to add a little bit of a film and skin barrier, working really good in tandem with the tallow. So this is going to also create some structure to our body butter. And we're going to go ahead and add that in now. There we go. That is going to be it for our heated phase ingredients. So I'm going to go ahead and melt this down, and I'll bring you back for the next step. While that's heating up, we're going to go ahead and weigh off our cool down phase ingredients. So these are the ingredients that we don't really want to heat up because it compromises the properties of the ingredients. So the first thing we're going to do is weigh off some glycerin. Now, again, you can remove the polyquaternium 7 from this formula and just add it back into the glycerin if you wanted to, but glycerin is a humectant. It's going to add moisture to this formula. It's going to help to draw moisture from the air to your skin, and it's also going to help the overall feel of this body butter. It's going to help it to glide over the skin easier and give it some conditioning properties. There we go. To this, we're going to be adding in some fragrance oil. You could swap this out for an essential oil if you want, but today I'm going to be using some warm vanilla sugar type by Nature's Garden. It smells really good. It's not like a sweet bakery vanilla. It's more like, it's kind of just like a traditional type vanilla with, I think, some like sandalwood notes to it. It's really beautiful. So we're going to go ahead and add this in. Okay. The last cool down ingredient is our preservative, and today I'm using Optiphen 176 because it's great for lotions, any type of emulsified product. It works really well, and you can add it in at higher temps if you like, up to 176. All right, I'm going to go ahead and give this a little bit of a stir, and then we'll set this aside. All right, everything is warmed through and melted now. So one of the reasons why I like to add everything into the same container with this type of formula is because we're using beeswax, which has a high melt point. And so you need your waters and your oils to be around 165, 160 degrees before combining. And sometimes it's hard to get the water and the oil phases to the same exact temperature, which is otherwise not super important, but in a formula like this, it is. So it's just nice to have it all in the same container and everything is the same homogeneous temperature. And as you can see, my emulsifier is already going to work combining the oil and water phases. So now we just need to use an immersion blender and get this really well emulsified and combined. So just for reference here, we're sitting at 165 degrees. So we're going to go ahead and get this combined. We're just going to use our immersion blender on low. I'm only going to do that for a few seconds initially because I don't want to incorporate too many bubbles into my formula here, and then we'll give it a rest and we'll stir by hand. And we'll come back as it cools to further emulsify it and add in those cool down ingredients. All right, it has cooled down to right around 100 degrees now, and it's looking very thin still. And not to worry, this thickens up to a beautiful, thick body butter consistency when all is said and done. But we're at the perfect temperature to go ahead and add in our cool down phase ingredients. Our cool down phase ingredients, getting added in right around 100 degrees helps them to kind of bind and combine properly with the rest of the ingredients in here, but also is a low enough temperature that we are not damaging any of the properties of the cool down ingredients, the delicate properties. So we're going to go ahead and just pour this in first. If you guys know my turmeric infused beeswax cream, this is similar in nature to that one. Also, that one can be found over on my Patreon campaign, where I show you how to infuse your oils with turmeric and then make a beautiful thick cream with beeswax out of it. This is similar in nature to that formula. So I'm just going to give this a little bit of a stir by hand, and then I'm going to go ahead and use the immersion blender to get everything well combined. Okay, again, just being careful not to incorporate too many air bubbles into this formula. And this will thicken up as it cools. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and allow this to just thicken up, and then I'll bring you back for the packaging. All right, so the formula has cooled down to about 90 degrees Fahrenheit now, and you can see how lovely and thick it is becoming, and it will continue to thicken up as it gets cooler, closer to room temperature, around 75 degrees or so, 76 degrees. So we're going to go ahead and package it up while it's still a little bit on the warm side. And this does continue overnight to get even thicker over the course of 24 hours. I'm going to go ahead and putting it into this little 4-ounce PET container. It smells amazing. right, gonna give you a little bit of a use demo here. Just scooping up a little bit out of my container. And it just glides on, super silky, velvety, but also has those nice protective skin barrier type properties to it from the beeswax and also the tallow. So this is really gonna last on the skin. So this would be a really good one for maybe after hand washing, or just anytime you want like a thicker type emulsified cream that's got some skin barrier properties to it, or you need to lock in some extra moisture. Let me know in the comments what other type of tallow tutorials you would like to see. I know people are making lip balms with it, and probably some other type of whipped products. No guarantees on the whipped products. I will take those into consideration, but we are getting into the warmer months, and they don't usually hold up that great for me in warmer months, but it's definitely something I might try experimenting with. So let me know in the comments below if you would like to see some other type of tallow type videos and tutorials and what those would be. All right, everybody, that's how you make a tallow and calendula infused body butter. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. Please remember to leave me some comments and questions below. That really means a lot to me. Share this video with a friend, and why not subscribe to my channel? All right, everyone, catch you on the next video. Bye. Keep shining.